Hello, and welcome to Social Explorer. My name is Amelia. I am a trainer here with Social Explorer, specializing in our academic demonstrations. This is the first of three video recorded demonstrations on Social Explorer. Today we will be covering an overview. The second video demonstration will cover our tables tool. And this third demonstration will cover our mapping tool. This is a great demonstration for both existing and potential clients who are faculty, librarians, college staff members, researchers, and very excited to have you all today. So to get started, this is Social Explorer once you log into the platform. I like to describe Social Explorer as a hybrid data visualization tool and a database as well. And all of our features will speak to one of those key functions. You'll notice on the main page of Social Explorer that up here in the top right-hand corner where you see my mouse, that it would say a professional plan provided by your university. This means that you have a license with us and that you have logged in using your educational email alias. I would recommend that everyone do that here if you have a license with us so that you can get full functionality of the platform. And you'll notice from the main page of Social Explorer that it really guides you towards making maps, which is sort of Social Explorer's claim to fame. We do often like to call Social Explorer GIS on training wheels. And if you're here and unfamiliar with what GIS is, GIS stands for Geographic Information Systems or softwares. Basically, it's the science of mapping and of spatial data. And like a lot of disciplines, it has, a pretty intense learning curve, especially to make maps and represent spatial data. And Social Explorer tries to bridge that gap. So it tries to let people who might not have a background in GIS make some apps. And again, I mentioned earlier on that that will be the topic of the third video. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned, keep watching the videos. But to continue on with our overview of Social Explorer, I'm going to go up to Create New, and I'm going to walk through some of our other key features. So we have our mapping tool, which I just introduced, and I said that we will cover that in the third video. So please stay tuned. We also have a story tool, which is going to be a series of interactive maps with a narrative alongside of them. And I'm going to show that as an example today in our overview. And then we also have our reporting tool, which is synonymous with tables or this process of downloading tabular data. So every data set that we have here on our platform, you can download off of our platform in an Excel or a CSV format. And as I mentioned, that will be the topic of the second video in this series. I also want to mention that once you have an account with us and you are all logged in, you can save everything that you make here on Social Explorer in the My Projects tab. You can edit it, you can come back and revisit it, you can even share it with people who might not have licenses with Social Explorer. And I'll talk about that a little bit more later on. I also just want to mention down at the very bottom here, where it says GeoData, that if you are more proficient in GIS or are working with students who are more proficient in GIS, we do offer all of our geographic data to be downloaded off of our platform and used in a desktop GIS software. And now, as part of our overview, I also want to mention our Teach and Learn modules. These are really amazing pre-made content that you can input or embed into your class just as they are. We have three different types. We have our lecture launchers. These are going to be content-based. They have been created by professors or researchers in a field. They use our data. They make some sort of argument with our data. And I'm going to circle back to these in just one moment. We're going to take a look at one together. We also have training modules. So if you want to get to know the platform a little bit better, come check out our training modules. I will say that we also offer a lot of other support here at Social Explorer. So if you want to learn more about our platform, just get in contact with us and we can also set up a meeting with you and walk through it so that you are seeing someone's face and walking through the platform. And then we also have data snacks. These are standalone interactive maps that we have on our platform using the data that we have, and they're really cool. So definitely would recommend checking these out a bit as well. But circling back to our lecture launchers, I mentioned before, these are all made using our story tool. So they're all going to be a series of interactive maps. We have them for a variety of fields that we think our data best fits into, like business, criminal justice, education, environmental science, geography, history, political science, psychology, public health, social work, and sociology. For the sake of today, I'm going to show one of my favorites. It's in the political science field, and it's this gerrymandering example. And once it loads, I'm going to spend a few moments doing orientation. Again, I mentioned this is going to be a story, and this is used or created using our story tool. So this is definitely on the table for something that you could make from scratch. But if you're here and you are instructing a course in any way and you want to use a teach and learn module that we already have published, but you want to adjust it a little bit, you can press the Save As button up here. You can save it to your account. You can edit it however you see fit. There also is a share button for all the deliverables here at Social Explorer. I mentioned again, you can share what you make with Social Explorer, even with people who don't have a license with us. They just can't come back and do any of the background editing, but you can share as a link, you can share as an embed code, you can also share as an email. And you can also download everything from Social Explorer in a static format. So in the case of maps, you can download them as an image. In the case of stories, you can download them as a PowerPoint, export as a PowerPoint. And again, I mentioned before, tables, which will be our second video topic, you can download those as an Excel or as a CSV. There's a beautiful landing page for this module that looks at gerrymandering, and I'm going to press start and click into it. I mentioned before, this is going to be a series of interactive maps with a narrative. So the biggest part of the screen is going to be the interactive maps. You can hover over them. You can see the rates of what's being visualized. So in this case, it's population density. And then over here on our left side, there's a narrative. In this case, the author is looking at population density per square mile in the census in 1900 compared to 100 years later for the census in 2000. And you can hover over and you can get the rates on both sides. And then it works as a slide deck, so you can advance to the next slide. So the next slide of this topic starts to look at voting data or election data that we have. This in particular is on election competitiveness, so the percentage difference between the two candidates, and you can hover over and get those rates. And this is what a deliverable on Social Explorer may look like. And so now to continue on with our brief overview, I'm going to jump back to the main page of Social Explorer. And I want to introduce our data dictionary. So I'm just going to click on this data dictionary button. And this is a comprehensive list of every single data set that we have here on our platform. And I just want to go over a few highlights for everyone here so you know what data you could play around with Social Explorer. So just going down the list of some of the favorites that are used, we have every single American Community Survey that started in 2006 all the way until 2020. For those of you who do not know, the American Community Survey stemmed out of the long-form census. It was created back in 2006, and this is going to be the most rich data on the US population. In fact, the decennial census, as we know it now, the one that is conducted every 10 years, only has about 10 or so questions, but the ACS has hundreds of questions, hundreds of variables. It's very widely used, and we use it a lot here at Social Explorer. We also have censuses pertaining to different countries that are not US specific, although most of our data is US specific. We have data on phenomenon like the Black Lives Matter protests that happened in 2020. We have building permit data, so data on the built environment. We have business data. This is business formation statistics. We have health data that includes this wonderful cancer data. We have every single census from the first census that was conducted. This is now the decennial census back in 1790. All the way until 2020. So you can look at change over time here on our platform. We have data on the voting population. We have COVID-19 data. We have county business patterns data, lots of elections pertaining to countries that are not the US, as well as every single US election. Scrolling a bit more, there's data on environmental phenomenon. There's the FBI crime data. This is quite popular to use on our platform. Health release data and housing price indices, a lot more economic data on here as well. And we have a great hybrid of both publicly accessible data and data that is only accessible on our platform as well. This is it today for our overview of Social Explorer. Thank you all for tuning in. If you're interested in learning about our tables tool or our mapping tool, please check into the other videos. And as I mentioned before, if you are looking for any other support with Social Explorer, please get in contact us and we are happy to set up a training or give you any more information. And we're looking forward to continuing working with you. Thank you so much.